And good morning. I'm Carol Costello. Thank you so much for joining me. Infighting at the very top of the GOP. Just minutes ago, Donald Trump fires a new shot at the most powerful Republican in Congress. He tweets, quote, "Our very weak and ineffective leader, Paul Ryan, had a bad conference call where his members went wild at his disloyalty. It is a startling attack after a remarkable snub. The House Speaker saying he will not campaign for his own party's nominee. It's the latest fallout from the mushrooming scandal over Trump's lewd remarks caught on tape, all with the election looming just 4 weeks from today." CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash is following the Republican infighting this morning. Hi, Dana.
Hi there. Well, it's always interesting to see where Donald Trump takes his Twitter rants. It's really stunning, and I kind of need to find another word besides stunning to talk about all of these developments, to see that he's using Twitter to focus his ire on the top Republican in the House, the top Republican elected official in the land, House Speaker Paul Ryan. Now, just by way of background, very quickly, the reason he's clearly so angry is because Paul Ryan held a conference call with his rank and file yesterday, telling them that he, Ryan, is not going to defend Trump anymore. He won't campaign with him, which he hasn't done yet anyway. But he also, most importantly, told his members they should feel free to do what they need to do, making clear he doesn't think Trump is going to win and they need to be in self-preservation mode. He did get a lot of pushback from some conservatives, and that is what Donald Trump is now seizing on in these tweets this morning. Let's start with what you put up, and I think we should do it again so our viewers can see. "Our very weak and ineffective leader, Paul Ryan," this is Republican talking about a Republican, "had a bad conference call where his members went wild at his disloyalty." That followed one about an hour or so earlier saying, despite winning the second debate in a landslide, every poll, which need to tell our viewers, these were online surveys which were not scientific. Here's the important thing. It is hard to do well when Paul Ryan and others give zero support. I was just told in my ear, Carol, we have yet another tweet from Donald Trump. So we can put it up on the screen and I can read it and we can see as our viewers see at the same time. "It is so nice that the shackles have been taken off me and I can now fight for America the way I want to." So there clearly another aim at Paul Ryan and an explanation of why he's doing this. Now, let me just, before I move on and give context to this, tell you what Paul Ryan said in response through a spokesman. Paul Ryan is focusing the next month on defeating Democrats, and all Republicans running for office should probably do the same. Basically saying, why are you focused on us? You need to focus on Hillary Clinton. But Carol, Donald Trump is clearly laying the groundwork for blaming House Republican leaders if he does lose, and also trying to gin up his base and make them angry about the fact that the leadership is not with him, which he was pretty successful with, and it helped him get the nomination in the first place during the primaries.
All right, Dana Bash, thanks so much. I want to bring in now former Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. She is a Trump supporter. Welcome, Congresswoman.
Good morning, Carol. Good to be on with you this morning.
Good morning. It's good to talk to you again. Unfortunately, we have to talk about this. It's now a civil war within the Republican Party. Why is Donald Trump brawling and not trying to reunify his party?
Well, I'm a friend of both Donald Trump and Paul Ryan. I serve directly with Paul Ryan in the House of Representatives, and I serve on the Executive Advisory Board for Donald Trump. And I think that I spoke with members yesterday that were on this conference call, and the members said to a person, people were in support of Donald Trump, and they really were perplexed why Paul even had the conference call in the first place, because Donald Trump delivered a masterful performance in the second debate. Clearly, he won, and the members of Congress were behind Donald Trump, and all this conference call did is take away from the news on Trump's conference call. And then, of course, there was also speculation about the timing of these videos being dropped last week and why that was being done. So I think that this isn't a civil war, as you wrote it. It's really the members in Congress who are saying, we're not going to fall in line. and
Well,
abandon Donald Trump. We're
Congresswoman,
standing with Donald Trump. So they were very
Congresswoman,
vocal with
two
Paul
things.
on the call.
Two things. I know you say that Donald Trump won the debate, but the polls that he cites are unscientific polls. They're online polls, which are virtually meaningless. Most people do think Hillary Clinton won, and Trump just performed above expectations. So I don't know how you could say he had a stunning victory on that debate stage the other night.
Well, I think that's the CNN view, but if you talk to people out on the street, it is amazing. People were fist bumping yesterday on the street. They loved what Donald Trump said. So
why are his poll numbers tanking then?
Well, I think what we're going to be seeing from now into the election is probably one bombshell after another going off. But remember, we've had these massive, massive bad news WikiLeaks dumps for Hillary Clinton, where this is like real news that impact you and me and everyone in the nation and our lives. Things that Hillary Clinton has done and said and plans to do, like, for instance, she does not plan to close our borders. She plans to give amnesty to illegal aliens. She said that she told the billionaires on Wall Street that she's telling them one thing and she's going to tell the American people another. In other words, admitting she's going to lie to us in order to get elected. I mean, this is pretty severe information that no other candidate would survive if they didn't have the cover of a friendly media covering them.
Congresswoman, would you prefer that candidate Trump just talk about the issues that you just mentioned, which are worthy issues to talk about, and not talk about Bill Clinton's past sexual affairs?
Well, I prefer that we are talking about the economic disasters and the military disasters that have happened under Barack Obama. I mean, this mess in Syria.
But my question is, do you want Donald Trump? My question is, do you want Donald Trump to stop talking about Bill Clinton's past infidelities and inviting women who accuse Bill Clinton of sexual assault to things like national debates?
Well, there's a reason why he did, and it's because this tape was brought up about him, and he was only trying to show that Bill Clinton actually engaged in criminal behavior toward women.
So you think that's good strategy?
Sexually assaulted women, including potentially raped Juanita Broaddrick. I mean, these women should be heard.
They should be heard, but should they be invited to a debate when you yourself said that America is interested in talking about real issues that are important to their lives? I'm not discounting these women's concerns.
Sure, and in this circumstance, I think it was very much fair game, because this was a planned surprise attack on Donald Trump, going at his character, and all he was trying to do is remind a lot of the millennial voters who have no idea about Bill Clinton's past sexual criminal behavior, and he's bringing these women to remind voters of that, and also so that they can't be ignored by the media.
Well, here's the thing.
Bill Clinton,
here's the thing, Congresswoman. I just want to ask you about this because you ran for president, and you know what it's like to be a woman running for president. In fact, you've expressed sympathy for some of the things that Hillary Clinton is going through running for president in the past. My point is, Hillary Clinton is running for president, not her husband, Bill Clinton. Do you really think that by attacking by continuing to talk about these past infidelities, that will win over many of the women voters that Donald Trump, frankly, really needs to win at the moment?
Well, I think really it's going to depend on Hillary Clinton's team, what they want to talk about. If they want to bring up like 11-year-old videotapes on Donald Trump, I think you're going to see a Donald Trump who's going to fight back in the same venue. So it really is going to be up to Hillary. I think that what all of us would like to see is more talk about Obamacare and the disasters that are happening in Syria right now, the tragedies over there, and also with our economy. That's really what we would like to be talking about. But then it really will be up to the Hillary Clinton team to make sure that there aren't these sort of videos and things that are coming out, because Donald Trump will respond in kind. Why shouldn't he?
All right, Michelle Bachmann, thank you so much for joining me this morning. That's former Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann joining me. So let's talk about what she just said. I want to bring in CNN senior political analyst David Gergen, Jackie Kucinich, she's a CNN political commentator and Washington bureau chief of the Daily Beast, and Jason Johnson, politics editor of TheRoot.com. Welcome to all of you. Okay, David, lots to unload this morning, right? So there's this civil war again brewing within the Republican Party. And you heard Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann say, you know what? Paul Ryan started it. Donald Trump is justified in fighting back. And one more thing, if Hillary Clinton continues to bring up these tapes from 11 years ago, Bill Clinton's infidelities is fair game.
Well, we're just in extraordinary times. When the nominee of a party attacks the highest-ranking member of his own party, you know, Paul Ryan is the highest-ranking elected Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives, and Paul Ryan basically disassociates himself from the Trump campaign. You then have, this is a titanic clash, and one that's only guaranteed to reduce Republican chances in November. Because so many voters are either going to be disenchanted or they're going to revolt or do whatever. No one knows what. But I just want to say this. You know, Michelle Bachmann and others are now basically accusing the Republican leadership, especially Paul Ryan and some others, of being disloyal to them. The question can be reversed, and that is whether Donald Trump has ever been loyal to the Republican Party as a party and to the other members who are running on, allied with him. You know, right from the beginning, he started chasing off Hispanics from the Republican Party. He started chasing off, African Americans from the Republican Party. He started chasing off college-educated people, and more recently, he's now been, chasing off women. It's not just this tape. It is, of course, a string of things, going back to Megyn Kelly and including Miss Universe, that have indicated to a lot of American women voters a man who is disenchanted with women, or at least just treats them dismissively and as objects and something he's entitled to. So if you look at that, that's doing enormous damage to the Republican Party, damage that is going to long outlast this campaign. And he doesn't seem to give a damn.
Wow, that's strong, David. So, Jackie, I always wonder, Donald Trump picks fights, but do you think he ever sits back and says to himself, what is this doing to the Republican Party? How is this affecting voters out there? How is this affecting young people who perhaps have just, gotten involved in the political process and have kind of good thoughts about it as of yet? Does he ever do that?
It doesn't seem like that because, let's remember, Donald Trump wasn't necessarily affiliated with the Republican Party. He wasn't a creature of the Republican Party. So, because he's never been elected to public office before. So why should he have any loyalty to them? You saw this throughout the primary. They would try to wrangle him and talk to him as he started going further and further in the process, and he would not be wrangled. So I don't know that he thinks like that. When you put that against Paul Ryan, who this time of year has one job: to keep the Republican majority in the House. And when he sees, when members are coming to him saying, people aren't going to vote for me now because of what Donald Trump has said, because we are allied with this person who doesn't represent the values of that district. Now, I'm not saying that across the board. There are a lot of different districts that are very red, that are very big Donald Trump supporters, but that's not cross country. And so if Paul Ryan is looking at the spread saying, okay, I'm going to lose a lot of members because of what Donald Trump said, he's got to protect his members before the Republican nominee.
So, see, Jason, this is such an unusual year. It's even hard to come up with, because, any question I would ask you that would pertain in previous elections wouldn't apply, right? Because I really don't know what's going to happen next. Do you?
No, I don't. And honestly, Carol, after the debate, I spoke to a couple of members of the RNC, and they talked about how difficult this tension has become. They have said that in some instances, they're literally hiding from members of the Trump campaign. They have events they want to go to. They're being told in central Georgia and Florida and Ohio, the RNC can come, but don't bring Trump. And then some Trump people are hearing, well, you can come, but you can't bring members of the RNC. And when you have that kind of tension, look, you cannot stand with a House this divided. And there's every reason to believe that part of this really stems from Donald Trump. You can't run as an outsider with antipathy for the elites and then assume those elites are going to come and help you out at the end. And this is going to be a real problem that extends far beyond the election. Whether Trump loses big, or whether he loses small, it's going to be a problem.
All right, you guys stick around, David Gergen, Jackie Kucinich, and Jason Johnson, because we have a lot more to talk about. I'll be right back. All right, Donald Trump is on sort of a tweet storm this morning. In the course of 2 hours, he's tweeted 5 times. This was his 4th tweet in those 2 hours. This one says, "It's so nice that the shackles have been taken off me and I can now fight for America the way I want to." This was after, I don't know, 3 or 4 tweets attacking Paul Ryan, the most powerful Republican in the United States at the moment. So let's bring back in our panel. CNN political analyst David Gergen is here. Jackie Kucinich is back. She's a CNN political commentator and Washington bureau chief of the Daily Beast. And Jason Johnson is politics editor of TheRoot.com. So David, this 4th tweet from Mr. Trump, and we'll put up the 5th tweet in just a moment. He says, "It's so nice that the shackles have been taken off me and I can now fight for America the way I want to." Were you aware that the shackles were on Donald Trump?
He seemed to be the most unshackled candidate we've ever had. He's been saying what he pleases, really caring too much about the consequences. You know, he went into the first debate and he was very dismissive of preparations and he wound up losing badly. You know, so I don't think he's been shackled. What I do find interesting, Carol, is that he has made the argument several times that he can win this without the elites. In fact, he's running against the elites, of course, now. But he can win without these people. They've just been, they've just shackled me up anyway. But in one of his earlier tweets this morning, he said, "Look, I really did well in the second debate, and I'm only doing it, if I'm doing badly, it's because they're not supporting me." In other words, he flipped the argument from saying I can do it without them to blaming them for the fact that his poll numbers are sagging.
Okay, here's the 5th tweet, and you can handle this one, Jackie, okay? Okay. He says, "With the exception of cheating Bernie out of the nomination, the Democrats have always proven to be far more loyal to each other than the Republicans." So again, he's maligning his fellow Republicans for fleeing his campaign and saying, hey, look, the Democrats are sticking together despite what Hillary Clinton did to Bernie.
It took a while for Democrats to coalesce around Hillary. They had the whole primary system, and there have been moments where Hillary's had some backlash from her party. But listen, I mean, this particular incident isn't about Hillary Clinton. It's about what Donald Trump said, his first non-apology, the second apology, and how he's continued to carry on. He could have moved past this by now. The debate was a moment to move past this. And instead, 28 days before the election, he's choosing to fight with the Republican Party instead of Hillary Clinton and to go after Democrats. It's just, it's extraordinary.
The other thing he's doing, Jason, and you heard Michelle Bachmann mention it, he's saying that maybe it was it was like interesting, the timing when that tape dropped, like who really released that, right? Also, if you look at the front of Breitbart News, CNN is the most evil news organization in the world, right? Because we're maligning Mr. Trump unfairly when we're not telling the truth. In fact, no member of the mainstream media is. And there are also hints again that we might have a fraudulent election coming up.
Yeah, Carol, it's almost hard to begin on the level of nonsense that's being spouted. But I think we can all see where this is heading with what Donald Trump said in the last debate. When he stood there and said, one of the first things I'm going to do as president is basically throw my political opponent in jail. When you hear someone say that, when you hear someone running for president of the United States say, I will throw political opponents in jail, there is no question what other things he's willing to do. He will dismiss his own party. He will pretend he doesn't have a relationship with his own vice president. He will declare the election as rigged. He will say that every media outlet that does not kowtow to him is somehow an enemy of the state. This is inherently dangerous talk. And I think the real key here is he can attack Paul Ryan all he wants, but at the end of the day, Donald Trump was leading in a place like Ohio. Now he's losing. Why does that happen? Because you can't even make friends with a popular governor like John Kasich. He's going to have trouble in New Jersey because he's insulted even Chris Christie, who was very, very loyal to him. You can't win if you won't make any friends, and he's not making friends this campaign season.
And you know, something interesting appeared on Facebook the other day, David Gergen, and it's from Glenn Beck, right? Glenn Beck, who passionately attacked Clinton for years and years, posted this on his Facebook page, quote, "If she is elected, Hillary, the world does not end. Once elected, Hillary can be fought. If one helps to elect an immoral man to the highest office, then one is merely validating his immorality, lewdness, and depravity." David, Glenn Beck said that.
Yeah, I know. I believe that Glenn Beck is a Mormon. He has many, many friends in the Mormon community. And it's not, and he's very close to Mitt Romney. I would not at all be surprised if he's been, was basically offended by the tape, as many others were, but I think he might be particularly offended. And he's venting about it. I don't know much more about his personal history with Donald Trump himself.
It's just interesting that there's this split among, because Glenn Beck is really conservative, right?
It's like throwing a grenade into the middle of your party, and and then everybody's throwing them now, and it is a civil war within the Republican Party. I think a lot of us felt that this wouldn't break open this kind of war within the party until after the elections were over, and then there was going to be a fight over the soul of the party and the direction of the party. But it's starting 4 weeks before the election, the Civil War starting, and it really is going to drag down a lot of Republicans and dispirit them. It is hurting everybody to have this go on. I think that Paul Ryan himself, before this is over, may withdraw his own endorsement. I think if he could totally act on his own, he would withdraw his endorsement. But given the fact he's House Speaker, he's trying to protect his members. He's trying to walk a fine line. Donald Trump's very obviously extraordinarily angry, but what you have is a sense of Donald Trump, the tiger who was caged up in that debate, is now breaking loose. I think he's been unshackled all along, but he's giving vent to his anger and his resentments.
All right, well, we're going to be talking about this for a long, long time on CNN and in the days to come. David Gergen, Jackie Kucinich, Jason Johnson, thanks to all of you. Still to come in the newsroom, 270 electoral votes needed to win the White House. Does Trump still have a path? We'll break down the map next.